Hi, I'm Scott. Welcome to Goldwing Docs. We've got some interesting and not so great news for owners of the 6th generation Goldwing. That is the 2018 and newer GL1800s. If you have one of those, this video applies to you. So we've got two real problems with the 6th generation GL1800. The first one we've known about for about a year and a half. It started out with what seemed like to be transmission failures. It was originally thought to be just manual transmission, the 6-speed Goldwings, but it then started happening to the DCTs as well. And that was just a sudden lockup of the engine with a bunch of transmission damage at the same time. We actually had a few Goldwing Docs members that had this happen to their bike, and they reported it on the forum. They posted pictures of just destruction where you could see the transmission had been destroyed. As time went on, we got more and more of these reports of these failures. The narrative started to shift as to what was actually going on. And as of about the last month or so, it's been pretty definitive that what is actually happening. There is a UBS bolt, which is a uniform bearing support bolt, basically a bolt that's tensioned to a specific torque level. It's a left-handed bolt, and it is failing. Now, we don't know if this is a problem with the design. Is the bolt undersized and that's why it's breaking? Or is there an actual materials defect? Was the bolt not heat treated properly? Or maybe the supplier was using the wrong grade of steel. We don't know the actual reason why these bolts are breaking, but what we do know is that when these bolts break and they come out, they get into the moving mechanisms in between the engine and the transmission, and what happens is the engine seizes, stops. You'll be riding along, you'll hear a click, and then bang, engine stops, and when you try to start it, all you get is a click. You can't start the engine because it's actually seized against that bolt. Often, especially if the bike is moving at any kind of speed and the transmission just shatters pieces in there. We've had people on the website who have had this problem, and their Honda dealer, when they were doing repairs, said there was upwards of 40 different parts that were broken and needed to be replaced. No word from Honda on this yet, but it's definitely a problem that's happening to the 6th generation GL1800 owners. As far as we know, there's not really anything you can identify to know whether or not your bike is at risk. It just happens to you or it doesn't. And until Honda gets on top of this and issues a service bulletin or a recall or something, there won't be any way of knowing. It may be one of these things that Honda does where it's kind of like a silent warranty that if it happens to you, then they'll fix it for free. And if it doesn't, then too bad, so sad. You just have to hope it doesn't happen to you. I would think the fact that when it does fail, it causes the engine to seize, which could be extremely dangerous. It's a safety issue that at some point they could be forced into issuing an actual recall. I will put a link in the description and in the comments section below to the article on Goldwing Docs where this was initially reported, and you can follow it through and see how we are currently diagnosing and seeing these issues. A lot of pictures, a lot of reports. Which brings me to the recall. This is an actual recall issued by Honda. It affects all 6th generation Goldwings, GL1800s, model year 2018 and newer. It is a problem with the fuel pump. Now, the fuel pump has an impeller, which is kind of like a little windmill. And what it does is it swishes the gas around, and through centrifugal force, forces the gas up a port or a tube. Now, these impellers are typically made out of metal or plastic or some kind of fuel-resilient material. Sometimes they were made out of rubber, and I suspect that may be the case here. But whatever the material is that they have built these fuel pumps out of has turned out to be not impermeable to fuel. So it's gradually allowing fuel to seep into the material that the impeller is made of, and the impeller then starts to swell. And once it swells, it then jams against the inside of the casing and seizes. And because it's a fuel-injected bike, as soon as you lose fuel pressure, the engine quits cold. So your indication that you have a problem is you're riding along one day and your engine quits, as if you had just run out of gas. That's definitely a safety issue. So Honda has issued a recall to replace all the fuel pumps in 2018 and newer GL1800s. I will put a link to the topic on Goldwing docs where this recall is being discussed. It has the full actual recall documents sent to dealers. You can find out. Letters actually won't be going out to owners until next month, so this may be the first you're hearing about this. There will not be parts available until the recall is officially sent out, but you may want to call your dealer in advance just to try to get in early before the huge influx of people that get their letters in April. Again, I'll put links to both these items in the Goldwing Docs forum in the description and in the comments below. Click on those links if you want the latest updates on both of these topics, as well as lots of discussion from our members. It's not great news, but hey, it's news that has to get out there. Don't forget to click like on this video if you find it useful. Subscribe to the channel if you think it's useful to you. We have hundreds and hundreds of other videos on this channel. If you haven't browsed through, we have DIY videos, product reviews. We got so many videos on this channel. I encourage you to browse through and check out some of our other videos and subscribe to the channel because then you get notified whenever we post a new one. Thanks for watching.